strong. They run different sets and then they just look for the open space and put the ball quick there.
Absolutely. Well, Andre PERUSIC is already out, 26-year-old from Prague. David Schweiner, his partner, also from Prague, 6'7", the blocker. But EVANDRO has one of the biggest serves on the tour, if not the biggest. But this is a new pairing alongside GUTO. Top rookie in 2016, GUTO played with Pedro, Ricardo, Victor Felipe, and Thiago. One win on the FiVB World Tour. That was with Seaman. Sorry, he also had one with Pedro as well. For EVANDRO, well, 2017, he was the world champion in Vienna with Andre Loyola. Then he teamed up with Bruno, the gold medalist from Rio de Janeiro in 2016. And we really have got a battle on our hands. Team of the year, EVANDRO and Andre in 2017. There's GUTO. And GUTO will be having a great time this week. No pressure. They almost lost out to the jump setters of Sweden. They won that encounter, sat at 9th place, 18-16. But this is exactly what we've seen from the Czech pairing before. Passing on an angle, running the block inside, and then knuckling back to the space, as you said.
Yeah, it's exactly that. They just go on quick solutions, always have a good position in attacking. That's their key.
Coached by Andre Tomatis, the former Italian player. He's done a fantastic job with this team, he really has. They were last year 25th here in Doha, but they were a qualifying team. They're a team that have really had to work their way up to make it to this big stage. There's line available from EVANDRO, good vision from the left side. It's a good start for the Czech pair. Pressed on his knees, Schweiner transition setting that one, but GUTO continues the play, but unfortunately on the turn is Schweiner, and that one's out the back. I mean, a great performance this week from the Czech boys, that's for sure. Benec and Kubala were the first Czech team at London 2012, so it's been some time since they've had male representation. In the women's game, there's obviously Marki Slakova and Barbara Hermanova playing at Rio. But the benefit, well, let's just say Czech beach volleyball is in a very good place at the moment. 3-1, good start. Marco, you've played against both of these teams. Is there anything that you would be trying to do that would make your life easier?
I would try to serve GUTO that EVANDRO cannot go on too many second balls, because then it's when you're getting in trouble when they run different sets, and also EVANDRO has a chance to go on two. That's what makes it really hard to block and defend. Yeah,
we were saying yesterday, weren't we, that EVANDRO is so big on the net, especially on two. He can go over the top of absolutely anyone, and blockers will be trying to reach into his airspace, trying to reach up all the time. But that's GUTO getting really chippy. He almost rotates his upper body back to the line before chipping back angle, and that shows one picture to the defense, and then he goes the other way. Plays with so much suave, doesn't he, GUTO?
Yeah, definitely.
And that's EVANDRO doing EVANDRO things at the net. And look at EVANDRO from Rio, 30 now, 2 meters, 10 centimeters. You don't want to get caught underneath that block. How much can we appreciate and respect the job that even Brazil have done? We've talked a lot about the Czech team coming out and making this final at the expense of some really good experienced teams, but it's not easy pairing up with somebody maybe a week or two before an event and then coming out to a 4-star and putting in a performance like this.
Yeah, I mean, that's always you always have a good chance of doing great if you're a new team, because the opponents don't know how you play. Also, you don't have any like small things that disturb you from your partner, and sometimes you're just excited to play with each other, and I think that's the case for those two guys, and they definitely used that well, and you can see they're both having a lot of fun during the game, and that's what it's about.
Yeah, beach volleyball partnerships are a lot like marriages, aren't they? You spend a lot of time with your partner and you get to know them very well, maybe too well.
Yeah, exactly. I'm happy that Flo is now at home and not with me in quarantine.
Yeah, sharing the same room for 2 weeks almost. Well, there's a missed serve from PERUSIC. 6'3" defender. We've got some questions coming on YouTube. We've been interacting with you all day. It's been great. I mean, the beach volleyball community make it really what it is. It's such a big community, but such a small one at the same time. A couple of questions. Who do you think is the fastest defender in the world, Marco?
Yeah, I think GUTO is not a bad pick, but also I think Taylor Crabb that we saw earlier today, he's really fast and also really coordinated with his legs. I think like he's really good at chasing balls. Also GUTO, yeah, I name it there. There's lots of good defenders.
2 looks and a swipe out of the court brings EVANDRO back to the service line. A couple of questions about whether this Czech team could be the next Beach Volley Vikings in the chat as well. With swings like that from SCHWEINER, you would never put it past them. But Marco, what's your opinion on that? It's a question, do you see this team being the next Beach Volley Vikings, or have they still got a little bit of a way to go?
I think the next Beach Volleyball Vikings, they won't just appear like that. I would more call them similar to Kantor-Loziak, the Polish teams. They have a really good ball control. They know their game. They stick to it, and they move the ball around. I would more call it in their way, not in Mol Sorum way.
Yeah, Mol Sorum have done a fantastic job. The great arm swings, good vision, great decision making, good reading of the game in block defense. It's a slightly different game to running the ball around, and look, plays like this, quick balls in the middle, trying to move the blocker again. The Czech pairing is SCHWEINER from the left side, and that is a big hammer from the left sider.
For me, it always looks like they're trying not that hard, and that's what makes them strong also. I think they don't use that much energy in their style of game.
The Beach Volley Vikings.
No, also the Czech guys.
Yeah, the Czech guys as well, exactly the same. They're both very calm, not so emotional. Obviously, Bruno not here this week because of COVID. He's suffering from COVID for a period of time in Brazil, but we're sure he's maybe watching, so we hope you get well soon, Bruno. The World Tour misses you, and we can't wait to have you back. One of the best that we've ever seen on this tour, and it's a better place with you. We also wish Andy Mole a quick recovery. That's a great line shot from GUTO, all the same, but Andy Mole with his hip, we hope that he's back soon. And also, Adrian Karambula, Enrico Rossi have had a tough couple of weeks in their Olympic preparation. Karambula, well, Rossi, it was testing positive for COVID-19 before the competition, but then turning in a negative test as well, but then other issues stopping the Italians being here. But they will be in Cancun, you can be assured of that. Big hammer from EVANDRO. And this is exactly what you were talking about, Marco.
Yeah, exactly. That's the situation you want to avoid, because this is one more option they have, so yeah, one more thing to focus on. You can see David is late there, and they don't really get a good block defense on that.
Yeah, the 2-ball is damaging, especially with when a server is penetrating in. It's a little bit swipey from SCHWEINER underneath the ball, and anytime it's tight, it just brings the big hands of EVANDRO. And what really surprises me, Marco, is 6'10". Look how low he gets.
Yeah, I didn't just see it now. I'm gonna pay attention to the next one.
Yeah, he's really getting, maybe not on this time, because, or maybe this time, the ball's a little bit out of system. Maybe stay a little bit higher, but now maybe.
Yeah, I think blockers used to go earlier and lower now than it used to be. Also now in the deep sand, if you're earlier low, I think it gives you more stability in the air.
Yeah, absolutely. You see blockers like yourself, Anders Mole, so low, hiding out the vision, popping up again, but it's slightly more difficult. Oh my word, EVANDRO. How so? The ball's gone 7, 8, 9 meters back set. He's looking more like Bruno out there, the Brazilian indoor setter, but he's 6'10" on the beach.
Yeah, he's really a good setter, and I love to see that. They also played that kind of ball in the semi-final, and this has been working really well for them.
Certainly, the setting over large distances throughout this game is not easy, but Evandro's serving is an absolute weapon for Brazil. It always has been. He can knock anyone out of system. But that time, it was long, and we're at the technical timeout. And remember, the story here is still sparring early on in this, the men's gold medal match, which just saw a very, very strong performance from the A team. April Ross, Alex Kleinman taking that victory against the world #1 team of Sarah Pavin, Melissa Imana Paredes. Rumor has it that it means that the Americans go to the top of the Olympic qualification ranking after that victory earlier on. That's another great stat coming in from David Wagner and Tim Simmons from Beach Volleyball Database, two people who do so much for this sport and supply myself and others included with so much information to really help. GUTO jumping inside out, just turning into that one.
Did you see how much that ball traveled now to the net? It was really taken from the wind to the net. You could see it. GUTO had to jump really far to the net.
Yeah, the ball has been drifting, and that's the big difference.
Happy for his partner to win.
I would absolutely say the same. I would look at my Olympic gold medal in the face and be happy with that achievement. Back to business after the timeouts. More.
I think that was a good decision. He could do the same again as a partner. I wouldn't be unhappy.
Yeah, absolutely. The missed serve out the back means we're back to just 3. It's been an interesting game, this one. It's very evident to see what's happening here with the tactics of the Czech pairing. Let's see what they serve up next. It's a great pass, and the ball's quick inside. To run the system that the Czech pairing play, they have to pass well, Marco, and that's perfect from them.
Yeah, they really are doing a great job, and also I think what's really impressive is that they move the ball around that much with different plays and still get a great court vision.
Yeah, the more you pass on the net, absolutely better vision that you can have as a spiker, but that's GUTO ripping back to the line. Just have to apologise quickly for Dennis Wagner. Sorry about that one. No idea what I said at the time, but I completely meant to say that. Thank you very much for tuning in, everybody. Please make sure if you're watching on YouTube, you subscribe, you keep supporting the sport. The digital team, the social media team have done a world-class job, not just this weekend, but the whole way through the pandemic, to keep everybody watching volleyball. There's a change of ends, and this looks like it could be a fairy tale day for Perusik and SCHWEINER. There's still a lot of work to do as they go down to the so-called poor end. Wind behind, spin serving most teams from one end, floating from another, but Marco, there's quite a few missed serves from the Czech boys, but they still keep a 3-point lead.
Yeah, I mean, they don't have to just put the ball in play, otherwise they would get the Brazilians would get comfortable in their side out with different options, and like that they always put pressure, and they have to find solutions.
It's a game of risk versus reward, isn't it, with service pressure? If you pass in system at this level, it's going to be very difficult to make a block defense, that's for sure. High off the top of the block, or maybe out the back. Perusik serving GUTO. GUTO takes a step inside. Good hand setting. The ball's just blowing off. You can really see the wind taking control of the ball, as you were saying earlier, Marco. GUTO gets his line of approach, and then he's leaning back in the air, and it's good timing in the block.
Yeah, also yesterday and the day before, SCHWEINER was really impressive in blocking.
Timing is so good. That's 2 in quick succession for David SCHWEINER. And maybe, just maybe, the Czech pairing are edging closer to their first ever 4-star victory on the World Tour. It looks as if they have this first set in the bag. It's a long way back from Brazil, but with EVANDRO hitting on 2 and now going back to serve by my maths, there's still a chance that this could be the difference. Randy Stokler's on the chat saying earlier, legend of the game, Randy, welcome back to the chat, that EVANDRO could be the difference here. We've seen it before. We've seen it at the World Championships in 2017. When EVANDRO gets going, well, he takes the whole of Brazil with him. Big serve, but a little bit out of system. High line is accurate. Is it in? Is it out? It's just long, so that's 1 back. And Marco, that's maybe what EVANDRO does. If he doesn't serve aces, he's at least going to get you hitting from off the net.
Yeah, that's exactly what he's doing. I mean, first, the receiving EVANDRO feels like, I don't know, playing defense.
Puts them top of the Olympic qualification race. What will this do today for PERUSIC and SCHWEINER? Makes them very tough to catch, Marco, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's a great result for them.
And that's a great timeout as well. It's David SCHWEINER just turns one to the line, as we've seen so many times. Back set, looks, he sees GUTO shift one way, he sees the space over the top of EVANDRO, and his set point. As we were saying, history being made this week due to it being the first event since the pandemic. The FiVB have done a great job. GUTO does a great job there by staying high and hammering. But there would be more history to be made if the Czech Republic win a 4-star event for the first time in men's beach volleyballing history. GUTO will certainly have something to say about that. EVANDRO will certainly have something to say about that. But it is the Czech Republic that take the opening set of this men's gold medal match in Doha event. PERUSIC and SCHWEINER are at 14 with the top 13 going. Near enough they're at 12 because 2 of the teams above them have already qualified through different routes. That's an overset. That's a great start. Or maybe a net touch against EVANDRO. No, it's a handover from the big blocker. Another back set, but this time not so accurate. And it goes away with the team in blue. It's an intriguing race in the men's race for the Olympic Games. PERUSIC and SCHWEINER in that 14th spot, 6,040 points. But today they are going to move above Sharif and Ahmed, but also it looks as if above Nikolai and Lupo. Nikolai and Lupo are already qualified due to winning the event in Hyung alongside Plavins and Toksh earlier on. Well, I'd say earlier on in the year, earlier on in last year before we had the break. Hand setting. GUTO, so good. Turning into the angle, staying nice and high in these breezy conditions where it's very tough to keep your angles as a spiker and to have too much choice in your offense. But the passing and setting has been strong from PERUSIC and SCHWEINER the whole way through. They've run their offense perfectly, and once again we have to complement the pass, especially against such a good serving team.
Yeah, I mean, the serve of EVANDRO didn't have the biggest impact on the game until now. I think he still didn't score any aces, so we're still waiting for him to do that.
Exactly, that's a very, very good point. We're still waiting for EVANDRO to really take a hand on this game and dominate, as we've seen so many times on the World Tour, that he can dominate games just with his serve. We've seen him serve teams 6, 7, 8-0 up, but not today from EVANDRO. It's another misserve from PERUSIC and SCHWEINER, and to any young team watching, it's proving service pressure is so key in this game. And they really are throwing the kitchen sink at this. Well, the change of ends. 7 points. This would be some day for Andrej Perisic and David Schweiner to win an FiVB 4-star event. The first gold for the Czech Republic in what would be a Grand Slam beach volleyball event on the men's side. Yes, Slukova, Hermanova have won big events, 5 stars, but the men haven't had the same success. And at the moment, it looks as if they're looking very strong for that first win. Off the net, EVANDRO's underneath the ball, but he sort of manages to hit his way out of trouble again because of the height.
Yeah, if you're 2'10" tall, anything that you can hit has a really good chance to be a point.
Yeah, absolutely. Off the hands this time. Chases on GUTO. Stop it. Tomahawk. And there's a scoop. What a rally. GUTO again. It's the second one-handed diving save we've seen, and then EVANDRO gets talled. This is beach volleyball at its very best. You've got one team running the blocker around, tooling off. You've got one defender watching everything. Unbelievable.
Yeah, that's what we were expecting of that game. GUTO digging everything, just keeping the ball alive. The other team, the Czechs, going with combinations, and EVANDRO just being big at the net.
Some sweet nothings from EVANDRO to his partner. They did it the difficult way against Sweden when the teams were tied. They won 18-16 back in that third round matchup. And that's a big high swing as well from Perisic. The ball's dropping inside, and maybe the wind's just blowing the ball outside of the hitting window. That'll be, but it passes on a big angle, so it's difficult to access the line from there. EVANDRO's really wide.
Yeah, EVANDRO should be more with the ball. I think the ball was staying a bit in the middle with the wind, but still, he can put more pressure on that ball.
Yep, absolutely. Very tight from EVANDRO this time. It's tight. And EVANDRO again is setting butter to the pin. Chase on, it's another big rally here. Brazil are really showing character. They're refusing to give in, and they've made another break. This is much more improved. It's a good read from Perisic. He makes the right read into the body line of the spiker, but he's still drifting to the floor. This time he's floored again, and trying to turn around on that one, but it's always difficult to knuckle the ball from a centimetre off the net. More running. EVANDRO, get your skates on, big sir. There you have it. It's cat and mouse stuff. It's obvious what's happening out there, Marco. It doesn't make it any easier for EVANDRO.
Yeah, exactly. But still, GUTO has a good touch on it. Almost can keep the ball in play.
The reception once again proving to be so key. It really is. Perisic and Schweiner start to falter with their service reception, then Brazil really have a chance. But for as long as they're passing as well as they are, it's going to be a very, very tough end to this second set for the team in yellow. Oh, EVANDRO on 2, squeezing, just. Marco, as a blocker, what's your initial thought when you're running into the net, you see the 2-ball coming?
Just press over and give my defender a good reference, so which side he knows which side he needs to take.
Yeah.
And then always you don't need to have the highest block or the highest jump, but you just need to be there with your hands.
Maybe against EVANDRO, you might have to be a bit higher as a blocker. coming
Yeah,
in
I mean, he
straight.
can. Yeah, he can still attack even though he's standing. I think with 2m10, it's easier to get a good position.
And also, at 2m10, if the ball's not quite in the hit fifth. Final four. EVANDRO makes a step, makes a great press. Better hands from EVANDRO. Stable and watching. Line blocks communicated. Interesting time as the ball's off the net for the first time in a long time, and because the pass is off the net, it really brings GUTO alive. And we haven't seen GUTO quite at his best so far, but there is a dig from the Czech Republic as well. GUTO goes high line, but PERUSIC is on everything. He's matching the Brazilian defender, and maybe he's going on further with the high line.
Yeah, it's great to see both defenders going with open arms, long stretches, and digging the ball so little over the sand.
GUTO is, we said earlier, you would have him in your top defenders list on the World Tour. PERUSIC didn't come onto that list, but that was some rally, some speed, and also defense is one thing, but transition hitting is another. But SCHWEINER this time, ridiculous. Hands are starting by his side, but it doesn't matter how the hands start. Look at the finishing position. Six will do this, and it's been more one-sided than anyone would have thought at the start of the game, Marco.
Yeah, I never expected it to be that clear.
Absolutely not. It's GUTO once more. And he's just trying to hammer that one so hard, sliding the ball away, but Czech pairing have really played block defense well. They've also run the ball around nicely. EVANDRO has now been served, maybe because he's run the two ball as of late. It's just a change of service tactics to say, hey, if he's going to hit it anyway, we may as well try and control it. EVANDRO needing something special in this one. Doha has been the perfect host of the first FiVB World Tour event for a long time. On the turn, EVANDRO, he does turn so nicely. Looks as if it took a touch on the way out as well. Okay, are we going to see an EVANDRO run? He's downwind as well, don't forget, but at 6'10", you can spin serve downwind, you're high enough. Slightly off the net, but the back set is still in play, and is there a tool off of EVANDRO? Absolutely not. And it looks as if the pass is starting to come more off the net, Marco, and it's making it more difficult for the rhythm of PERUSIC SCHWEINER.
Yeah, against the wind, if you have to set the ball that far to the net, you have to put a lot of effort.
Well, effort's really what's needed from Brazil here. They can see the finish line. PERUSIC and SCHWEINER is going to give their Olympic push. If you see PERUSIC and SCHWEINER there after this epic run in Doha. The World Tour is back. As Agatha looks on before she comes down to collect her bronze medal. It seems like a long time ago. The women's bronze medal match was the first game of the day. Good performance from Agatha and Vida. It's another medal for them. From the middle. And what's happening here is that the errors are creeping in.
I think the pass was not perfect, and also the set had to go longer to the net, and then they're not in a perfect position anymore.
Well, EVANDRO hasn't had a run the whole way through this game, but this is 3 in a row from EVANDRO. now into the wind, and the ball's back off the net, and that means you can't run the ball around so much. This is playing back into Evandro's hands, but maybe the sun is shining on PERUSIC SCHWEINER here in Doha. They have been phenomenal, but sometimes they just need a little bit of luck, and that one holds on the net band forever. And look at the reaction. They needed to get Evandro off serve, Marco.
Yeah, that was definitely it. You could see it, how much relief there was when they realized it's not him serving anymore.
The celebrations can't start yet, though. The errors are still there. Sometimes when you can see the finish line, makes it even tougher to finish the race. GUTO's just going to keep planting the ball in here, making it difficult for SCHWEINER. Now he's from the middle, and it's Evandro, but the cover is good. Flipper set is also good, and the ball is wide.
I think they just made the most mistakes in the last 5-6 points. They made more mistakes than in the whole game.
Maybe in the whole week overall. They were flawless against Lucena Dalhousie yesterday. Absolutely flawless. And now the pass is starting to go astray. SCHWEINER needs to hit his way out of trouble. And there's another error. 4, maybe 5. And 16-10 has turned into 17 all. This is only just heating up here. A change of sides very late to get PERUSIC on the side out. That was sneaky, Marco. Very late move.
Yeah, very sneaky indeed. I'm not sure if it was the right decision to serve PERUSIC right now, because SCHWEINER was really struggling.
Yeah, well, they moved positions very late. It would be interesting to see if GUTO would have seen that switch, but it's too close to call right now. PERUSIC trying to take this into his own hands. Back set again. It's way off the net, though. So there should be a dig, but not quite moving into the line, PERUSIC. So he's beaten. There's another side out. And it's heart-in-mouth stuff here. There's so many Brazilians on the chat, so many people watching, commenting so quick as Brazil start to make their way back into this with Evandro. Humongous moments in Doha. Clutch from PERUSIC, but even stronger from GUTO. He hammers deep angle, off the net spiking now from PERUSIC. We have a game on our hands, Marco. We really do.
Yeah, now it's really interesting to see how they react. Before they were doing every ball clear, every side was a clear point on the floor. Now suddenly it looks like the court is only half of the size for them.
Both defenders making superb plays. This is taking a long time to heat up, but it certainly is now, and it's gone long. Evandro has tried to hit the 2-ball off a very straight pass from GUTO. And they may have done it the hard way, but SCHWEINER is serving for one of the biggest moments in Czech beach volleyballing history. The side out has come from GUTO, high off the hands. Great decision when he's falling backwards, not so much on, but he finds an avenue, an alleyway to still score. Still, match points for the Czech Republic. SCHWEINER the target from the inside. Quick ball to the middle. It's gone around Evandro, and there you have it. The celebrations can begin. Look how much